Between you, you're building the creator practice at the firm that owned trust longer than anyone. Nobody is better placed to tell us what trust is worth.
I couldn't agree more.
Whoa.
I know. Big up us, Kenny.
Seriously. I don't even know where to go.
I know.
Is that the whole pod?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're done
Just
here.
some flattery, yeah. I'm really excited to have you both on.
That it's at the core of what Edelman does is to make trust investable. I mean, it's literally at the core of the barometer. But we don't think about trust as a paid commodity. We think of trust as an earned commodity.
Creators are in it for the long term. The days of like viral one-hit wonders blowing up and blowing down really quickly, I think we're seeing a balancing out of that. And for a creator like yourself, when you know what's going to hold you steady, what's going to be your best bet against maybe someone considering using AI, it's going to be your relationships. And that's why I feel working at Edelman and understanding those two different things that are coming together, that's why I think Edelman is so perfect for the moment now. We've built the trust and we're part of the zeitgeist of trust now.
Something that Edelman's very, very good at and is going to continue to thrive in, which is how do we vet creators? How do we help creators connect with brands and tell their story in a way that develops a level of trust? How do we ensure that, yes, there's going to be 200 million creators, but each one is going to have their own individual value proposition. Each one of them has a story to tell in their own way. And how do we create the space to match the right creator with the right moment, with the right brand to capitalize on that?
So what are the implications for brands over those results? And I think this is what I really see as creators doing. They're a doorway. They have opened the door to their community for you, and it's now the brand that is able to, just as Kenny said, have a conversation through that lens. So if your objective is to reach people, it should always be through the creator and the community coming together, and that's when we see some really great results.
Hello, hello, hello. We are here with Kenny Gold, Global Chief Creator Officer at Edelman, and Joe Burford, Head of Creator Marketing EMEA at Edelman, on the ThisThat Can podcast. This year's theme is Making Influence Investable, and today we're asking what trust is worth in the creator economy. Edelman just appointed its first ever Global Chief Creator Officer, a clear signal that creator is now a core discipline at the firm that has owned trust longer than anyone. As people retreat into smaller, tighter circles, alignment beats reach and proximity beats scale. Today I want to celebrate that shift and explore what it takes to prove what trust is actually worth. Kenny, Edelman's first ever Global Chief Creator Officer, you came from Deloitte Digital, where you built the social and creator practice. Your philosophy, efficiency is no longer the goal, resonance is. Build with creators, not broadcast around them. Turn creator partnerships into trust, not just impressions. Joe, a creator economy pioneer. You built one of the first creator communities at Talent House back in 2012, then Twitter and Vine, Whaler, and led the creator team at TikTok for UK, Ireland, and the Nordics. And now you lead Edelman's creator practice across EMEA, and you're running the Creator Lab here at Cannes, matching 170 plus creators with brands. And you and I go way back. 6 years ago, you were mentoring me when we were starting off with ThisThat as well. Between you, you're building the creator practice at the firm that owned trust longer than anyone. Nobody is better placed to tell us what trust is worth.
I couldn't agree more.
Whoa.
I know. Big up us, Kenny.
Seriously. I don't even know where to go.
I know.
Is that the whole pod?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're done
Just
here.
some flattery, yeah. I'm really excited to have you both on. We've got 4 parts. We're going to go from attention to attachment, the court of creator opinion, PR firms should lead the creator revolution, trust, not just impressions, and we'll have a fun rapid fire this or that at the end.
Fabulous.
All building on what trust is worth and what it takes to make influence investable. So, first part. Richard Edelman called this year's trust barometer insularity, the next crisis of trust. Trust is contracting inwards to your employer, your circle, the creators who feel close. 70% of people now hesitate to trust anyone with different values or background. Could you tell us what this means for the world and for the creator economy, and also for the audience? If you could maybe just give a quick background on the trust barometer, that would be great as well.
I can take this if you want me to.
Yeah, why don't you kick us off?
Absolutely. So yeah, 7 out of 10 people have an insular mindset or a distrust mindset. And I think if we experience that in our own lives, you can see it happening. And I always feel that this is the wonderful thing about the creator world. Whatever you see around you, you see it magnified in the creator space. So I think the implication for brands is that's what's happening with your personal lives. So you're distrustful of anyone who doesn't have a perceived similar background to you or perceived similar values. That also extends to your brand relationships. So I think the era of mass culture marketing is really over, because what could happen there is you can say, okay, I want to reach as many people as possible. Okay, sure. That means that if 7 out of 10 people don't trust you for the same values, it's probably likely you're going to start reaching out to people or communicating with people that don't share those values. So you can really turn people off. And we found in our report there was a 15-point trust penalty, we're calling it. So that's a really important thing to remember. And my message really is for brands and creators themselves: know your people, know your community, and really speak to them. And that really is one of the biggest lessons from the brand report.
It's relevancy over reach at this point. And we need to start thinking about creators as both inputs and outputs that sit firmly in the conversation around trust and the conversation around earned, and what does that mean for how creators engage with consumers for the future. So when I say inputs and outputs, brands need to start treating creators as an upstream component of how they go to market from a strategy perspective, and not just advising CMOs or chief communications officers, but more holistically the entire C-suite. Creators are a wealth of knowledge and understanding of their audiences, and the more in tune the creator is with the audience, the greater opportunity there is for them to make a compelling case to brand leaders that they should be a part of the long-term strategy of how that brand goes to market. It's almost like creators are audience anthropologists who are so firmly implanted into what a consumer wants. We've been talking about the era of top-down brand marketing being over for quite some time. And that's because real resonance with consumers happens in communities, it happens in subcultures, and it happens from the bottom up, not from the top down. So, and that's when we talk about trust, we also talk about earned. And that knowledge, that understanding, that resonance, that reliability is what earned really means. It's an alignment of values. It's an alignment of understanding. And then the trust component is a byproduct of that earned value set, that earned understanding. So when I think about where we're going, and we talk about resonance, and we talk about that it's not about reach anymore, it really goes back to that anthropology and that understanding of the audience.
Absolutely. And this is where, true to your original question, what are the implications for brands over those results? And I think this is what I really see as creators doing. They're a doorway. They have opened the door to their community for you, and it's now the brand that is able to, just as Kenny said, have a conversation through that lens. So if your objective is to reach people, it should always be through the creator and the community coming together, and that's when we see some really great results.
A lot of what you said actually resonates deeply with what we're seeing in our data as well. You speak of relevance over reach, speaking the language of communities, bottom up. We're looking at trying to understand what is the number one signal of what moves people through different stages of the funnel. But relevance is actually really where it starts. Relevance is the number one thing that moves someone from being aware to considering. And the way in which we have been looking at relevance, because there are lots of different ways of it, so for those looking at metric consistency, we look at what is the number one thing that someone associates with a brand, and what is the number one priority they have when they are taking an action in that category. If those two things align, if there's alignment of their needs and what they associate with the brand, that is relevance. Consideration more than triples when that is true. We also see relevance as one of the 3 core pillars of building brand love. And if you want that earned piece that you spoke to, that ripple effect, you can't get anywhere without relevance.
We've been saying for a while that what the creator economy has done in terms of its most significant impact on the world of marketing is the collapsing of the funnel. And the funnel has always consisted of awareness, relevancy, consideration, action, purchase, loyalty, right? But fueled by social commerce, fueled by the impact that creators have on resonance and relevancy, the funnel's collapsed on itself. And the truth is, the moment of inspiration and the moment of conversion are on top of each other. So that relevance becomes even more critical because, to Joe's point, it's the front door.
Yeah, yeah. I want to speak to the court of the creator opinion. Edelman talks about the court of the creator opinion. Brand perception used to be formed at dinner tables or in the magazine headlines, but now creators are judge and jury. Could you unpack that for me?
Yeah, I love this.
Me
This
too.
came from an insight from our team over in the States, Brooks Miller. And as soon as it came through, I realized straight away that's exactly it. And I think we were really inspired by some of the things that have been happening in mass culture. So we saw like the Coachella, and we saw, and things around the football, soccer, if you want to call it. And
That was for my benefit.
Yeah, anyone out there's benefit. We have a few people here that are like American football players. Like, okay, there's so much football going on. But all of these things are happening, and we were seeing that people's opinions were really shaped by what they were viewing in their own feed. And Brooks and the team really saw, okay, there's a new stop. There's no longer the stop of the family and the friends and everything else like that. Actually, the stop we're seeing in social media is the creator opinion. So the brand, then you have the creator, then you're getting into public view. And this is what we found so fascinating, because the reaction from the creators was having a direct impact on the brands. So we were seeing sort of CEOs come out of the precipice as such and responding to creator sentiment around something. We obviously saw it around some of the socio-economic things that are happening, the wars, but also on a kind of very smaller level, some opinions that were being made by brands were then reaching creators, and they were then forming the next opinion. So this is where Brooks and the team come up with the court of creator opinion, and it just felt so right. And I'm really leaning into that, and that's the kind of advice we're giving our clients, to think of creators, as Kenny has said, as these incredible moments within culture that are not just sat there waiting for you to ask them to do a sponsored post. They're living and breathing around us in ways that affect all of our lives.
I'll just double tap into it, and I love that Brooks and the team unearthed this because it's uniquely Edelman, which is why I really started to feel it, because it's a deep understanding of the creator economy and what makes it special, but it also is deeply rooted to what has made Edelman so successful over the years. So this is not just about brand marketing, and this is not just about brand communications. When you think about the court of creator opinion, you start to get into the world of corporate affairs, of public affairs, of the future of journalism, of the way that we ingest the news and the stories that matter and the influence that it brings, because creators are driving that dialogue. They're driving the community that comes together around that dialogue. So when Brooks and the team brought that forward, for me it was such a huge unlock moment of why Edelman, why now, why our clients should be working with us in this space. It's because of that very notion.
It's going to become ever more important. I think it's the latest stat, correct me if I'm wrong, you'll know this better than me, 200 million creators worldwide now exist. Yeah. It's the number one dream job for Gen Alpha in the United States. Like, we're just going to see more and more creators.
Yeah, and that's the workforce revolution, really, isn't it? I think there's
that too. Yeah.
different like tensions at play there around younger people feeling like, where's their place in the workforce? Lots of noise around redundancies and things like that. Betting on yourself as a content creator is actually quite a safe bet.
Yes.
Because you can see the fruits of your labor as such right before your very eyes, and all the platforms are there to support you through studios and through the content offerings that they have. Whereas, employment can feel kind of risky right now.
100%. And furthermore, as it gets bigger, there's going to be the natural question of, is it a bubble? Is it going to pop? I actually think what it's a moment for is something that Edelman's very, very good at and is going to continue to thrive in, which is, how do we vet creators? How do we help creators connect with brands and tell their story in a way that develops a level of trust? How do we ensure that yes, there's going to be 200 million creators, but each one is going to have their own individual value proposition. Each one of them has a story to tell in their own way. And how do we create the space to match the right creator with the right moment, with the right brand to capitalize on that? So it creates a space now for creators to want to build their businesses correctly, think of themselves as individual media companies. There's been a lot of dialogue recently about how creators are the new Hollywood, creators are the new media company, they're the new journalists. They're really, with 200 million people, they're the new everything. But it's a time now to put a little rigor behind the business of creator. Because there's a lot of money on the line.
Yeah. $500 billion industry the creator economy is going to become.
Absolutely. And, I think sometimes there's a feeling that when you hear that young people want to become content creators, there's this feeling of, oh no, what's the world coming to? And just what you've said there, doctors, data scientists, all of these people, what you're essentially saying is, I want to be in control of my own message. I want to earn money in the way that I want to earn money. These are entrepreneurial skills. So really when someone says, a young person says, I want to become a content creator, you don't have to reach for, oh, they just want to have a vanity life. No, actually, they want to bring further purpose to their life through the art of content. And I think that's a brilliant thing.
Yeah, this isn't so dissimilar to the way that I think society and culture looked at musicians and filmmakers in the 60s and 70s and even in the 80s, that they were artistes, they were auteurs, they had this, they were the counterculture, if you will, but over time those people who were counterculture became the fuel of culture.
Yeah.
And I think creators are now taking up the mantle of that experience.
This leads quite perfectly actually to the next part, which is PR firms should lead the creator revolution. So weeks into joining the role for you, Joe, actually, you heard Richard Edelman say that PR firms should lead the creator revolution. The power of earned storytelling and trust. Kenny, that's why you've made the move. So it wasn't a question actually, I remember you saying that quite explicitly, earned storytelling and trust. The question is, why is Edelman built to lead the creator revolution?
Yes, well, let's start with the fact that Edelman is a PR firm and so much more. Edelman is a global communications partner. They are able to provide strategy across so many other facets of what makes a brand able to communicate with its consumers in a meaningful way. We talk about our earned growth engine. We talk about what happens in an earned first world where earn-led storytelling drives trust, and trust that moves people and stories through the market. So what we're seeing, why Edelman, why now? If you put the two things in the world that are driving discoverability and penetration with multi-generational audiences, it's AI and creator. And when you think about I was meeting today with Amber Vensbox from LTK, and she used the word trust nucleus. Trust nucleus. I'm thinking about that phrase. When you think about the trust nucleus, it sits in between creator and AI. In an age of discoverability, you need to have advisors and strategists and conceptors and architects and thinkers who are able to help navigate the role that creator plays in the space of trust and the role that AI plays in the space of trust. Trust can be an obstacle, trust can be an accelerant. But in the case of the creator, when you unlock the accelerant of trust, all of a sudden the world is yours, because it is a commodity that is invaluable, and once you lose it, it's almost impossible to get back. So why Edelman? Because if you are going to play in the creator space, you need to understand the trust landscape. You need to understand what are the factors of trust and how does it drive forward, and what happens when it goes sideways. And there's no better place on this planet, in this industry, to do that other than Edelman. I mean, I'm unbelievably lucky to be stepping into a role surrounded by incredible experts across the globe who have been building this foundation for the last few years. Tyler Vaught, who has been our global head of creator, is an incredible thought leader in this space, and was able to unearth thoughts around trusted creator well before the industry got there. We talked about Brooks Miller and how she approached the court of creator opinion, and that's firmly rooted in trust. Joe's accolades precede her, and there's no better person to lead what we're doing in EMEA. We have Camilla Pachon in LATAM, who has been building that foundation there. We have Alyssa So out in APAC, who's been doing the same. So why Edelman, why now? We have the team, we have the philosophy, we have the pedigree, we have the permission, and clients will see the results of that when the work goes into market.
I want to add to the creator perspective. So my background has always been working directly with creators. So in my head, I always think of them through myself. I'm like, what do they think? And creators see themselves as earned. They don't see themselves as anything but earned. They've earned their following, they've earned their right to have a voice, and they've earned their place with brands. So when I consider why I moved from tech platform and media through to earned and PR, really relationships. Like, nobody understands the long-term value of relationships than Edelman. They've been doing this for a long time, and they're always looking around the corner. They're always looking to the future, because it's those relationships that will carry on. Our clients have been with us, some of them, decades, coming up to 75 years of Edelman, and the team that lead, they've had some of these relationships. I remember the team over in our leadership team told me that there's 4 generations of employees at Edelman. And that in itself leads you to understand that there's a long-term mindset here. Creators are in it for the long term. The days of viral one-hit wonders blowing up and blowing down really quickly, I think we're seeing a balancing out of that. And for a creator like yourself, when you know what's going to hold you steady, what's going to be your best bet against maybe someone considering using AI, it's going to be your relationships. And that's why I feel working at Edelman and understanding those 2 different things that are coming together, that's why I think Edelman is so perfect for the moment now. We've built the trust, and we're part of the zeitgeist of trust now. And you don't get those 2 things coming together very often.
And when you think about what we're up against, startups that want to be nimble, cheaper, more agile, comes with risk. Holding companies that are mashing together different perspectives to try and build a system comes with clunkiness. You've got independents who are representing individuals and trying to sort of wing it as they go. You've got talent agencies who believe this is only about talent. With Edelman's integrated solutions and the way that we think about AI, social, digital, generative engine optimization, digital advocacy, data, performance, we are coming at it with a very agile and holistic view that is backed by decades of trust and delivery.
Absolutely.
There was something that you said early on into this that piqued my curiosity, and I was listening to that whilst you were both explaining. It was you started off with we were talking about creators everywhere. There was so many more creators, and they spoke about AI as well, and generating content with AI was slightly tapped into. It's just making it even easier for people to create content. So now it's not just more creators, but more content with those, which actually like a multiplier effect across that. And then when you first went to answer why Edelman, you mentioned, as a PR company, knows how to manage a message, knows how to manage it when it goes sideways, or how to bring it back to the core thing, and trust being a core pillar of that. I find that actually a really interesting angle, especially with like the power of influencer marketing. I would say is actually the essence of influence marketing, which is influence. The ability to influence communities and spark that ripple effect, that earn that you spoke of, is becoming more and more powerful. But advertising is losing control of brand, and communities are gaining that control. And so in that, there's a real art and science to managing a message, which I thought, I don't know if that was intentional, but that really resonated.
It's always intentional. Our industry has a unique ability to try and make the thing of tomorrow structured like the thing of the past.
Yeah, so true.
And when you try to turn creator into a programmatic business, you are gutting what makes the creator economy innately special. And that is the humanity behind the creator. And I think it is AI, similarly to creators, is an accelerant when done correctly. I was talking to a few YouTube creators, and they were saying that AI is what allows for them to fail fast, learn, and test. That's not a replacement. It's an accelerant. They're small business owners. They're using AI to help with scale. So I think where Edelman will win, and where those who want to be successful in the creator economy will win, is understanding technology and data as rocket fuel, but understanding that creators are innately human. It is a trusted relationship between creator and agency, creator and brand, brand and agency, creator and audience. It's all rooted in trust and humanity at the end of the day.
I completely agree. And something that feels very obvious, but I don't really think potentially clients think it through, is that when you have an agency, you really are allowing them to be the first person that talks to a creator. A creator's relationship with you as a brand will often come through the voice of the agency that represents you. And I sometimes don't think they fully understand that. So what that means is the person who's outreaching, the person who's talking, the person who's negotiating, who's looking after you through that whole campaign period, is who the creator sees as the brand. So if you don't have somebody who represents you with thought, with care, with humanity, with respect, that's who the creator thinks is the brand. But I'm like, oh no, they just chose a bad agency. They're actually really awesome. So I take that role incredibly seriously. And when we're working with the team, I don't need to guide them at all. They're amazing. But that honor of representing the brand is so important.
It's something Sarah Razai, who runs our team in North America, who is so critical to our operations. She always talks about that it's built on relationships. It's built on that trusted relationship where we represent and are stewards for the creators.
Yeah, and when someone goes cheap, I say, good luck.
Yeah.
You'll be back. It can happen. You want to try somebody really cheap and inexperienced, unsophisticated, go for it. We'll see you in 6 months.
Swat that bee at me, Joe? Oh my God.
Add into the ambience, it's fine.
3 weeks, she's trying to get a bee to sting
It's too
me.
good, I need to sabotage him.
Oh, get him stung.
It's so interesting. There's so much overlap, and there's also some clear tensions, like you mentioned, of like trying to measure with a programmatic lens. I want to tap into trust, not impressions, and maybe I just want to give a bit of a preface for that as well. So, context on ThisThat, our mission is to prove and improve the power of influence, and we're doing that because we want to give brands the power to expand their story, and we're doing that because we believe in the community era. When McKinsey came out with a paper called Building a Better Brand, or Building Brand in a Better Way, in 2022, and it really deeply resonated with me. It explained marketing through 3 different eras. The first one being mass media, think of speakerphone, radio, billboard, 1920s, 1990s. It was all about just reaching as many people as possible. Then you go into the internet. You can now have a specific ad targeting a specific person. This is the personalization era. It's all about effectiveness. And I was actually at dinner last night with Les Burnett and a group of people talking about effectiveness, and it's still really important. It's important to understand effectiveness, and they've got some critical parts. But this article made the case that the same way in which reach was just a subset of all the things that are important when you move into this world where effectiveness becomes a priority, now neither of those 2 things are the most important. It makes the case for influence becoming the most important thing. And that is us entering into the community era, in which your ad plays a certain role, but then the ripple effect of what people say plays an even more important role. And the battle that we're trying to play is trying to make it easier for people like yourselves to make the case to invest into this. And so the theme of the podcast being Making Influence Investable is the angle that I'm coming from. And so I'm excited to dive into this. Both of you champion trust, not just impressions. I see trust as an influence as really part of that. You can't really influence someone unless there's that level of trust. To invest into it, you have to be able to prove its value, it being influence in this manner, at every level, from, say, a single post, a campaign, all the way to the boardroom. And as the industry continues to grow, the influence marketing has grown 3x in the last 5 years. It's looking to quadruple in the next 5. We'll see more and more 8 to 9-figure budgets. Governance will start peaking. How do we make sure that trust also exists in that regard when we've got these big budgets? What does a governing system of influence look like?
Ooh, big question, Kenny. I'm going to go to you.
we've been talking about guardrails and systems and universal measurement in the creator space for the last half decade. It's because we look for that type of convention to help us feel like there's a level of sanity, support, and safety. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I think where part of the creator economy growing up, and I think it goes back to the 200 million people, $500 billion, all this different stuff, is that there needs to be some level of gut checking, but also checks and balances that allow for us to manage this with a level of care and sophistication. This isn't a fly-by-night investment. Capital markets have regulations, and markets that are driving the world economy should be, supported, but also regulated where appropriate. There's a lot of great work being done by boards like the IAB and the 4As and various others where this is conversation that's being had. And as we get into election cycles, this becomes even more critical. The proliferation of AI slop, even more critical. We're sitting here in Cannes, and there's been a massive crackdown on AI impacting the work and making sure that there's some humanity in the work and that it's done in the right way, living up to a certain set of standards. So do I have the answer? I don't. Do I think that there's a world where this starts to come to life? Yes.
Absolutely.
We've also been saying it about social media for 20 years and we haven't done it.
Yeah.
So, it's been done at the local and state level in various jurisdictions globally, but I think there's, the community won't self-regulate right now. So.
I think we work a lot with the healthcare team, and healthcare and the way that has evolved with creators is fascinating. The amount of people that are now getting their medical advice from creators in a positive way. And something I built back at TikTok was the Clinicians Council along with the policy team. And I really enjoyed that work because it was bringing together lots of, for the UK, NHS doctors that were kind of self-organising really. They all kind of came together, and there's some few leading figures there in the doctor space, but all of them really wanted more regulation actually. All of them wanted to have some form of understanding at a quick glance how trained a doctor was or what really was their expertise, because there is a big difference between a junior doctor and someone who's 30 years of expertise in there. But you can't really see that quickly on social. So I do think the healthcare sector will go into some more regulation, and I think everybody will welcome it because it's a really important topic.
If we, as part of building out governing systems, could put a dollar value to trust, how would that change everything?
Go a step deeper. Ask the question a little differently, because I want to understand, is it about the value of trust? Is it what happens when trust goes wrong? Give me a little bit more. Let's talk about it.
So I'm thinking at it from an angle of like another metric inside earned media value. It gets a lot of hate, but it also gets a lot of attention, and people invest in it because it's got a dollar metric attached to it. And so I'm now coming from that angle of, can we make trust investable? Like, how could we put a dollar value to that?
That is at the core of what Edelman does, is to make trust investable. I mean, it's literally at the core of the barometer. But we don't think about trust as a paid commodity. We think of trust as an earned commodity. There is the value of trust in dollars lost. What happens when trust erodes? I think the KPI component of it, it's very interesting. I think there are other folks within the Edelman team who could probably talk about that as well. But there's, I tend to think of trust in what happens when trust goes wrong from a dollar perspective. And
you feel that yourself. The brands that are performing really well right now, they are doing these things. If you look at one of our clients, Vaseline, Vaseline, the petroleum jelly, it's absolutely growth on growth each year, and that's since it started building trusted communities around running, trusted communities around their verified platform. And then you can see it. You can see it in the product feels everywhere, but it's also been everywhere. It's one of those sort of products that is so warm about it, but then also by doing smart things and bringing it back into the communities to understand the real truth, which is chafing, right?
Yeah.
That's the truth. It's a truth for rugby players on their ears, it's a truth for runners on their thighs, everything else. The truth comes in from them listening, and then suddenly it feels like everyone really believes. And when you see a few brands that are not doing that so much right now, then they're starting to die out, and we feel it in our own lives.
Something that actually, like, connecting this level of trust, connecting earned, connecting also this like resonance and relevance piece. I'm thinking about how to say this without going too technical. We've seen in our data that you can map out communities. We're looking at them in different states by people that expand the story and that people that decay the story. You've got, we've been trying to dig deep as to like how could you segment groups of people in this. You spoke about like the funnel collapsing, for instance, and so is there a better funnel for this community world? We've noticed that when you are trying to understand what is the thing that's going to help you understand whether someone's going to buy today but also tomorrow and get more people to come with you on that journey, the two core things, NPS being something to look at, which on its own actually isn't that helpful, but when paired with alignment, which is that their association with your brand is the same as their top priority in that category, then you're really winning. So if you think of like a little quadrant, if they're aligned and recommending, these are your champions. They fully trust you and they're going to get more people in and they're going to buy today and tomorrow. If they're on the opposite, not recommending and not aligned, those are opponents, actively damaging your brand. But what's quite interesting is the in-betweens as well. Like if you've got someone who is recommending but not aligned, those are misfits. Right. You actually don't necessarily want them. They might be pushing you in the wrong direction, and it'll be very easy to take them away for another brand.
This is why having a world-class vetting system for your creators is mission critical, because you can determine where they fall on that axis that you talked about.
Yeah.
Expertise and audience understanding is a part of that. I think frequency can be a part of that as well, how often they publish that message.
Yeah.
But I do think that so much of where brands tend to drop the ball is on the infrastructure to support a modern day creator apparatus within their brand communication system. And I think that that's where you need strategic advisors who can help you navigate what system you need and how to use that to best find the right voices to sit in the upper right hand quadrant of that 4 box that you just described. This is another why Edelman moment, where it's like a simple SaaS tool is not going to answer that question for you. A startup that just has really cool creators is not going to answer that for you. And big conglomerates that with like big janky systems is not going to answer that for you with some whiz bang agentic workflow that is, not 100% finished yet. Like you need the humans who understand the why, the how, and the who, and how to get into that upper right quadrant.
And
Trust is there.
Absolutely, and that's when working with your social team, your brand-owned social team, is so important, because a lot of that comes from listening to the comments. And just taking comment analysis is one thing, but actually going in, looking at the comments, reading them, understanding where they're coming from, and taking you on to another community that, again, Venn diagram starts crossing over. And that is kind of manual in many ways, but it comes from listening first, and then understanding, and then taking that data and information back and having a bit of the human. I've got a hunch. I see these communities coming together. I think there's something here, and then going to the smart data people and exploring it out.
If we could have this answer in one sentence, I'd absolutely love it. What is trust worth in the creator economy?
For creators, it goes both ways. I think brands often think they need to trust the creator, or the creator absolutely needs to trust your brand. Back to the court of creator opinion, what they think about you is as important as what you think about them. So remember that when you're thinking about your relationships with creators, they need to trust you too.
For a brand, trust is the one commodity that once you earn it, it is invaluable and will pay dividends in perpetuity. And once you lose it, it's nearly impossible to get back.
Mic drop.
And that's why he's in Edelman.
Let's go.
We did it, and she's been waiting.
So
Max, are you going to come by Edelman House?
I would love to.